Thank you, Naomi, for taking the time to chat with us at The Christian Beat today about your new music. Exciting stuff. I'm curious, I want to start with when you first had this vision for this solo project journey.
So this started in 2016. I was just writing songs, and I was working on a worship album, which I did release. It's called Back to Eden. And I'd gotten a vision of just being in the presence of God, but still having that loincloth on. And the Lord was just talking to me, basically saying, like, I want you to remove that and come into my presence without trying to cover yourself. And he's like, now I'm going to take you on a journey back to Eden. And so originally the album was supposed to be a double album with Back to Eden, and it was supposed to show, you know, the behind the scenes, which is that journey project, with the worship, because I really believe that this music is the music that is the process that the Lord took me on behind the scenes so that I could sing songs like Promises and songs like Jireh. It's just the journey with the Lord. So it happened back in 2016, and I've been working on it ever since, and I've finally gotten to put it out so the world could hear it.
That's great. I'm curious, since you've been with these songs for that many years, how some of them have maybe changed meaning for you, or kind of, you know, mean something different to you now than maybe when you first encountered them.
Yeah, I mean, and so the reality is not all the songs that I've written for this album are on here.
Okay.
And some have gotten left behind, and just to be remembered by Jesus and I alone. But, you know, there are other songs that I have had to go back and revisit. Like You is one of the songs that made it through mostly unscathed. So did Safe, but musically Safe changed a little bit. So there are a few songs on here that are tweaked a little bit, and then there are songs like Okay, which have completely undergone a whole transformation, and even Not Ready was literally, before it was called I Want to Know You, and it's a completely different song now, from the same space, but sonically different, lyrically different. We just really took a lot of risks and made it what it needs to be for right now.
That's awesome. I'm curious how you hope that this project kind of impacts others listening through it. I mean, you obviously have a deep connection to it, but I'm just curious how you want that to translate for others.
Well, yeah, I want people to hear this project and be okay with where they are on their journey with the Lord. I think sometimes we can look at even some Bible characters and think about, like, Joseph, and it's like he made it to the palace, but we don't really fully recognize that he stayed in that prison and in that pit for years and years and years. I think we try to skip to the palace, and I think there's something in sitting in the pit. That's where you learn the God that you have to rely on in the palace, you know. And so I want people to take this album, hear it, love it, but definitely just think and be okay with where they are, knowing that God will bring them through.
Oh, for sure. I know that all of them haven't been out for long at this point, but I'm curious if you've been able to get any feedback funneled your way, and if there's any kind of lyric or track that's standing out from the feedback that you maybe weren't quite expecting to be in that list up front.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think that people would receive it as well as they have, just because I know people are used to me singing worship music, but the response has been overwhelmingly great. People have been saying, I feel this way, I've been feeling this way, thank you so much. Thank you for saying what we're not really saying in a lot of music, and thank you for being so transparent and real. It's helping my worship. And the line that I think people are speaking about the most is the first line in Not Ready. Let's just be honest, Jesus, I'm a mess. I think that really resonates with people. They've been saying it to me and screaming it out while I'm walking down hallways and texting me and DMing me that. So so it's just been something that I think people have really been able to resonate with, and I think it's just because it's real. We don't have to sugarcoat things for God. He sees and knows everything. He wants to hear it, you know? He wants it, so.
Oh, absolutely. I'm curious how, I mean, you've obviously, you mentioned Promises in Gyra. I mean, you've obviously done a lot with Maverick City and things. I'm curious how this project and your like solo work is different for you than some of the group work that you do.
It's different because, you know, I don't have to yield to anyone regarding like creativity and even expression. You know, when I sing, and I always say this, like, Mav is a collective. We're not a group, but we are a team, you know, and so we submit one to another and we yield and we prefer one another. And so that shows up in a lot of different ways, in the writing, in the music, in even our delivery and the spaces that we take and the spaces that we don't take, you know. And so in this regard, I don't have to do that. I can just release what occurs to me, and who and I'm not inauthentic, but who I naturally am. I can kind of fill up all of the space and not have to think about anybody else's contribution. But I love it. I love being on a team, but I also love, you know, just playing my role and releasing what is true to me and very unique to me. That's what I should say. Unique.
Yeah, no, for sure. That and I know there was obviously a lot of other hands that helped put this one together as well, Journey. So, but
yeah,
for sure.
But they have to answer to me at the end. So I get the final say. I don't get the final say in the math stuff, so that's a little different.
That's fair. That's very fair. There's definitely some similarities and some differences. I'm curious now that you have this out, do you have any, you know, plans or kind of thoughts on how you would maybe want to do, you know, either live recordings or music videos or kind of like other packaging of some of this in addition to the recorded album?
So yeah, I mean, we've recorded already like some acoustic versions of some of these songs, and I'll be releasing that soon. And I'm thinking about visuals. We do have a few visuals, thinking about visuals for the project. For me, this is like a conversation starter, and I want the conversation to continue. We may be able to like release a few more songs along these lines. That will kind of tell more of the story. I just want people to get it, and so I don't want them to just get it sonically. You know, I want them to get it visually as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there'll be some videos and things released.
No, that's awesome. I can't wait. I'm curious who or what is currently providing inspiration for you, either, you know, musically, spiritually, those types of things.
Well, a lot of this came from like just actual real life and conversations, listening to sermons, and I really couldn't even tell you exactly who at this point because of how long it's been. But I know some people that have spoken into my life. One is my pastor, G. Morris Coleman, out in Mount Vernon, New York. So if the people want to visit, anyway, I don't know if we'll put that in there, but you know, I really want people to visit my church. It's a nice place. But also Stephen Furtick. He's been super instrumental in like listening to some of his sermons and being inspired and pushed. Also Apostle Ryan Lestrange, just listening to his sermons and getting fresh inspiration. But a lot of it really does come from conversations I've had with my mom in the kitchen, conversations with my friends, and even my children, just like hearing what they have to say, thinking about it, and processing through that stuff and putting it into songs.
For sure. I know I don't want to take too much time out of your day, but I do want to have one final question for you, and that is, what are you most expectant for in the remainder of this year?
What am I most expectant for in the remainder of this year? Honestly, I can't wait until November, December. I'm wanting winter to come so that we could. It's really for the holidays. I'm expecting to just have super cozy times with my children and just sit around and drink hot chocolate and just really do nothing, but in such a beautiful way, with the people that I love, cuddled up and cozy. Because, we've been working all year. I've been working all year long. And so I'm looking forward to just having a moment to retreat and chill out and really zone into family.
That's awesome. I just wanted to thank you again, Naomi, for taking the time out to talk to us today. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thanks so much for these questions. They were dope.
Yeah, sure.